It's time to have some fun. You guys, I picked that song because it's a party starter, right? When that thing starts, the party starts. And after hearing everybody this weekend, it's been an incredible week, right? Incredible presentations. I felt like there's not a whole lot more for me to say, honestly, other than it's time to get the party started. That wasn't even rehearsed, but that was good. Give it your rain can, that was good. Rain can, I was like, yeah, I want to do today, I got you. I tell him, he's like, no, I got you. I'm like, okay, I got it. So, yeah, guys, this has been an incredible weekend. I'm ready for you guys to get home, get this thing started. I've got some material put together for you that I have kind of put together according to the theme of this event, to love, life, and drive. I think it's going to land well for you. Before we get into that, I got to tell you, though, about my first meeting with the Love Biome folks. Because maybe you were feeling, for those that are here this weekend, maybe you're feeling a little bit like I was feeling before you came here, maybe a little nervous. Anybody felt a little nervous, not knowing quite what to expect coming into the weekend? Well, I felt that way too a few months ago. So I get a phone call from, I don't remember if it was Kristen or Steve, one of the two calls me. I remember I was outside, I picked up the phone, hello? Randy had a little chit chat, and I think it was Steve, and Steve says, hey, can you come to Utah this Sunday? Steve's never asked me to come to Utah on a Sunday. And so my heart kind of drops, and I start thinking, what's going on? So, what would you ask? Why? So I go, why? And he goes, I can't tell you. So the anxiety went from 50 to 150. I'm like, what do you mean you can't tell me? I'm coming in, okay. So then I'm like, let me talk to Lynette. So I tell Lynette, and she's like, what, this weekend? I'm like, Steve said I probably should be there. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go. So it's I think it was Labor Day weekend, if I'm remembering correctly. I see Steve nodding. So fly in on the Sunday. We get there, and Kristen picks us up, we drive over, and get to the restaurant. Steve doesn't say much of anything. He pulls out a stack of papers, slides it over, and says, sign this. A non-disclosure agreement. If you don't know, we've got some incredible people in our corporate staff, and they take care of business. So then Steve starts to tell us about this business agreement that's going on. And we start asking a bunch of questions. He tells us the name, a little bit of the product. And so anyway, I go home that night, and I didn't sleep very well, probably like a lot of you maybe when you first heard about this, because we put a lot of work into this business, don't we guys? And we put a lot of work into the business. We gotta be protective of the business, right? We don't like the unknown. I like knowing. So anyway, the meeting starts at 8 o'clock the next day. So I get down there a little before 8. In fact, the sliding glass doors don't work at that building before 8 o'clock. Steve had to let me in. We're in the lobby, and I'm a little nervous still. And in comes some of the founders of Love Biome, and some of the field leaders. And I'm looking at them, and they're looking at me. They're like 50 steps away, and they could probably tell I was nervous, and I think I could tell they were a little nervous. And we meet each other. I didn't remember any of their names. I was so sorry. They had their names, I couldn't remember. Then we go in the elevator, and it was the most awkward elevator ride for me. I was like, looking at the ground, hi. We get into the corporate boardroom, guys, and I'm gonna tell you, within just a few minutes, they started telling their stories. We were going around the table, and it was amazing because their stories are like your story. It was wild. Like people from completely different parts of the country. Although I was really glad to hear we had some East Coast folks on the team. Yes. So their stories were amazing, and then we got to hear the founder stories and their love for the industry. Do you guys love this industry? Like, it was really really great to hear these guys talk about their love for the industry. It excited me even more. And I knew right away we were going to be good, you guys. And probably after these 2 days, you guys know we're good, aren't we? We're good. We're good. We're better than good. So, let me tell you a little bit about why I love LifeVantage. And even let's start with the name of LifeVantage. I don't know if many people know this, and we haven't really talked about it much, but I asked a long time ago. We've been with it 16 years, guys, so we've been around it for a little bit, LifeVantage. 2 words, right? Life and vantage. Of course, life is pretty easy. Your life, my life, a life. But then a vantage. If you look up the definition of vantage, more or less, it's a place that you can see better in. Our vantage point, right? You think of a vantage point, it's an elevated place. When you're in an elevated place, you can see further than other people can see, correct? When you're in an elevated place, there's some security in elevation, isn't there? If there's a little bit of nonsense happening, you can see it before it gets to you. You guys, that's what this company is. It's a place where your life gets elevated. Is that incredible? That's what this is about. That's what you are part of, is living life at an elevated level. And, I always desired to have a life that didn't have limits. Some of my friends used to make fun of me because I would think I didn't. My goal was to not work anymore past 40. That was my goal. And, I got made fun of. It happened because I was in complete control by the time I was 40 because of this company, guys. So, I love the company because, number one, I know I'm in better health than I used to be in, for sure. I didn't have bad health, but there was a little scare in my early 30s. I had a little, I'm Scottish and Irish, and I love the sun. So I got freckles, I had a freckle, and my wife was like, I don't think that's a freckle. Go check it out. So we go to the doctor, they biopsy it, and I'm not going to scare anybody here, but it wasn't a freckle, okay? It wasn't a freckle, 37 stitches. And so it was a time in my life where you realize, okay, you're not 20, you need to take care of yourself. And a few years later, we were introduced to these products, and I know I'm in superior health now than most people at my age, and it's because of these products. The other reason I love the company is because of the control it's given us over our time. It wasn't always like that before. I had a good business we owned, but I didn't own the business, it kind of ran me. My time was very much at the mercy of our customers or the seasons or things that were going on. We joined this company in 2009. You guys may remember what was happening around the world in 2009. It was not a good time financially for a lot of people. And as a business owner, I had employees. You don't just throw your hands in the air and quit. You got to provide, you got to do. So I went from working just a few hours to working all the hours, guys. There were days where I was commuting 3 hours one way just to get work done that we needed to get done. 6 hours commuting, right? I didn't have control of my time. Now I do with LifeVantage. That's why I love what we do. And then when it comes to the money side of this thing, we didn't always have control before. We did okay, from the outside looking in. Maybe this is your first little training here. Don't ever judge what somebody's wanting to do by the outside, because from the outside looking in, we went on vacations, we had decent cars, decent house, but our family was not, I'm going to say, safe financially. Okay, we didn't have years and years of backup, and now we do because of this company. That's an incredible thing. So those are some of the reasons why I love this company and love what network marketing has done. But I have a question for you. And I've heard this touched on a little bit throughout the weekend. Why are you here? You guys have been asked that a few times. So it must be an important question, right? Why are you here? Some of you will tell me you're here because you want to learn more about the product. Yes? It's okay. Clap it up. Anybody want to learn more about the products? It's a good reason to be here. Some of you are here to learn more about the business and how to be successful in the business model. Anybody for that? There's no right or wrong, guys. argue with you, that's not the real reason you guys are here. It's something bigger than that. It's something else. So let me explain. Have any of you guys ever had the privilege of buying a car? Like going to the dealership? Yeah? I don't like that day. I like getting the car, but I don't like the day because it's just like this hassle, right? Obviously, I want a car. That's why I'm at the dealership, right? But I want the car that I want at the price that I want. I don't want all the other stuff, right? I just kind of want to do it. But somehow that's a 2-hour, 3-hour thing, right? It's a long process. And in that process, once you finally get it done, you've got your car, right? So you could say, if you ask the salesman, why am I at the dealership? It's pretty easy why are you at the dealership, guys? To buy a car. But I would say that's not why you're at the dealership. You're at the dealership because you would rather drive than walk.
Amen.
It's not the product. It's not the business. It's not. You would rather, there's something you are trying to achieve. Is driving more efficient than walking? It is absolutely more efficient. There are so many people that are walking through life when they could be driving. And that's what I want for you guys. I want in the next few minutes to maybe identify what it is that will make you drive this business. It's not the product and it's not the opportunity. Right? And so I've got this first slide I'm going to show you. I got the clicker, so I'll do it. Don't worry about it in the back. And, you know, when we start talking about money, you got to be careful in this business. You can't make income claims. You got to be very careful. And for those of you that are new to a publicly traded company, we got to be real careful. So here's the slide. Read that. That's why. Make money so that you can walk out of a situation you don't like. Right? So, some of you in this audience are maybe forced to do work that you don't want to do for a paycheck. That's a situation you don't want to be in. There's a lot of people in that situation. They don't want to be in it, but they don't know how to get out of it. That's a situation they would rather be out of. Okay? Maybe you're dependent on someone for financial support. That's a situation you don't want to be in. And don't overthink it. Like, you know, Lynette, when we first started doing this, she saw this as an opportunity because she couldn't do what I did in the car business. Right? So if something happened to me, that would have put her in a situation she did not want to be in. Do you guys understand that? So she wanted to make sure she was never in that position. Or statistically, I know 70 or 80% of this room has got credit card debt that you carry month over month over month and you can't pay it. I know the statistics. Now we got a lot of smart people in here, so maybe it's less than that, but you know a lot of people in that position. This isn't just about us, it's about the people outside those doors. We said we were going to start a fire, we're going to start a party, right? So you know there's people that want out of that and they just don't know how, right? They are walking through life. Maybe you want to provide a better life for your kids. Maybe that's a situation. You work, and you want to provide a better life for your kids, and it's not been possible yet. That's a situation that you want out of. A little bit earlier, I was listening to some of the breakouts, some of the workshops, and I heard Dr. Brett talking about him getting injured his knee, I think he said, and it was like a light bulb for him that if he was hurt, he couldn't work. That was a situation he didn't want to be in, right? A situation where having the ability to have a leveraged income working for you. You heard Marcel talking about a little bit. Do the work early and let that provide for you, right? Maybe some of you are living in an environment that needs to change. Maybe some of you are in a situation where you feel like you just have to get out of this environment. You feel like you're walking through your days when you would rather drive, right? All of these are good reasons for you guys to build this business. And it's the only business I know that will allow you to live your life without limits, on your terms. It's the most incredible business model in the world. Now, for the next couple minutes, I'm going to share with you a couple things that I think is going to make this happen for you. If you guys have just resonated with something I said, if there's something you go, that sounds like me. I'm in a situation, and maybe I didn't hit the situation, but maybe you know what your situation is, right? So I'm going to share with you a couple things that I think can get you out of that situation, right? First of all, we need to find out what you believe. What do you believe? You heard that a couple times this weekend. Because I believe what you believe is what your future is going to be. Henry Ford said, right, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can, you can't. So then if it's that big of a deal, we really need to be asking ourselves, what do we believe? Because whatever you believe, you're never going to achieve anything bigger. It's always going to be less. And your mind is crazy. Like, I'm not obviously a very studious person. You guys, I barely got through school. Okay? So there's a lot of you in this room smarter than me. But I can tell you this. I've watched this over and over and over. People become what their routines are. And your mind can't tell the difference between what's real and what's not real. Let me explain. Your mind is so powerful. I know you guys have been to the movies. Okay, any of you guys ever been to a scary movie? Yeah? So the house is dark, this weirdo is in the house with a knife, and the woman comes home, she's fiddling with her keys, the weirdo's behind the door, and the door opens, and as soon as the door opens, bam, the guy jumps out, right? And what do? You jump, you scream. Anybody screamed in a movie before? It's not even real. There's no way you're getting stabbed. I've seen people come out of their chairs. That's their subconscious. Okay? That's their emotions. Their subconscious and their emotions are attached. I've seen people cry at movies. I've cried at movies. Anybody cry at a movie? Yeah, because your emotions are involved. It's not even real, right? Your life, you may be attaching your life to that person, but it's your subconscious that's driving your emotions. Your subconscious is so powerful. So here's a really important part for you to remember. 95% of who we are mentally and like physically, the things that we do, 95% by the time we're 35 years old, our habits, our routines, our decisions, 95% has already been hardwired by the time we're 35 years old. By the time we're 35 years old, we are in a solid routine and what some people call rut, maybe. And so you come to an event like this, and you get inspired. You get fired up. And with your 5% conscious brain, you say, I'm gonna start doing something about this business. I'm gonna change, right, with your 5%. And no matter how hard you want this to happen, no matter how hard you try with the 5% of wanting to do this, you cannot overpower the 95% that's already been wired into your subconscious. Because when you guys leave here, you go home, you're going to sleep on the same side of the bed. You're going to wake up about the same time you woke up last week. You're probably going to drink the same amount of coffee from the same coffee pot. You're probably going to take showers about the same time. You're probably going to go to the gym about the same time, see the same people, watch the same things. You guys are going to open up your social media. You're going to check your feeds, check in. You're going to just do this routine. You're going to be right back in it. And I'm telling you, if you want to have success with what we're doing with this company, this industry, you're going to have to rewire. You're going to have to rewire. Yeah. Okay? So, how do we rewire? I'm going to help you with just a couple of things how to rewire. Anybody want to rewire a little bit? Yeah. Okay. act is going to be uncomfortable too. When you start changing these things, this is not going to be comfortable because the hard wire is kind of forcing you in a direction and you have to go another way. So your habits have to change, the environment has to change, all of that, okay? But success starts with a decision and then a commitment, okay? Okay, there we go. So all of you are capable of making a decision. You guys are the fact that you're in this room tells me you're capable of making a decision. Someone invited you here, that was the thought. Then you said, yes, I will be there, that was the decision, right? So you're capable of acting on a decision. And I'm sure for a lot of you, this was a challenge to get here. It was not easy for you to get here, but you got here. So the fact that you can make a decision tells me I have confidence that you can do this. We can rewire, right? So let's start rewiring the subconscious, all right? So I want to remove a couple roadblocks. One of the first things I want to remove, you have to stop saying, I'm going to try. Okay? This might sound really simple, but it's not simple. This is going to be hard. You can't try anymore. Now this is a little, I don't want you to think I'm nerding out, okay? But this is just one of the best ways I can explain this to you. Check this slide out, okay? Maybe some of you guys remember this little guy, okay? I was like, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old when these things were coming out. I thought they were cool, so you guys know Yoda, okay? So in one of the scenes, he's the Master Jedi, and he's talking to Luke, and Luke's trying to be a Jedi, and he's asked, Luke's not had very much success with some things, and he tells Luke to do something, and Luke goes, I'll try, and Yoda goes, no, try not. We do or do not. There is no try. You guys, when you go home, we're not trying this anymore, right? We're going to do this when we go home, right? So start removing the word try from your vocabulary. Can you imagine? Okay, so there's a few situations in life we just don't try, okay? This is one of them. I was just at a wedding last weekend. Imagine you're at a wedding and they start to do the vows. And they get to the groom, the dude. And they're like, do you take this woman to be your wife, good and bad, health and sickness, poor or rich? And he goes, I'll try. How's she feeling? She gonna marry that guy? No one's marrying you in this business if you're trying. And we can see it, we can smell it. When someone's trying, I can see it. It's so easy, guys, to see, okay? Tonight, I'll give you a real world example that might be happening tonight. So you guys are gonna eat tonight. Maybe you're gonna get together with a group and you run into somebody and hey, you wanna come over and have dinner with us tonight? And they go, well, what time is it? You tell them what time and they go, well, I'll try. You need to stop them. I'm serious, you stop them. And say, are you coming or not? Here's why you need to stop them. Now, you don't have to tell them this, but you need to think this. You need to stop hanging out with triers. I mean, the people that are going to keep hardwiring your brain are the people you've been hanging out with. The people you've been going to dinner and you're waiting for, like, where is that person? Like, why are you letting triers dictate your life? Right? So change the environment, guys. The time that you spend with people really matters. Start hanging out with doers and less time with triers, okay? Then I need you to commit to a plan that has produced success for other people, right? Now, I've got a real simple plan for you. Marcel's taught me well. Here's the plan. It's 3 steps. Real simple. And every one of you, I would not tell you a plan you can't do. Okay? This is a real simple plan. Step 1. Be in Las Vegas in April when we're there. Are you guys going to try? No! or do not. Okay, did anybody tell you, you invited them here, and they said they were going to try? Did anybody tell you they were going to try and come? Are they here? No. Maybe a few triers somehow slipped in the back door. Okay? Number one, go to Vegas. Number two, bring 5 frontline people that you sponsored into the business. Bring 5 people to Vegas with you. We got a couple people happy about that. That means we had a bunch of people wondering, but we had a bunch of people wondering if they can do it. That's why you weren't all clapping. Okay? So step 1, you're going to be in Vegas. Step 2, you're going to bring 5 frontline business partners with you to Vegas. Okay? All right. I like it. We're getting some buy-in. All right. Step 3, final step. You're going to teach your team to do the same thing. You guys, if you do this, game over, you win. There is no way, I don't know if I can say this because certainties, right? We can't make promises. But I'm telling you, if you're in Vegas and you sponsor 5 people and you get all 5 of them to Vegas, and by the way, little asterisk, you're going to have to sponsor more than 5 to get 5 there. Okay? Get your 5 to Vegas, and then you teach your team to do the same. You guys, the events, Marcel just told you, the events do the work for you. Stop convincing. Just be a good promoter. The highest paid skill in this business is promotion. Get them to the event. Let the event do the work. That's it. The event will inspire people. You've been trying to inspire them, guys. You don't inspire people like that. People have to be internally inspired. They got to figure out why they're doing this. The event will inspire them, so then they go home. I think I heard McCasey say today something about 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Is that right, McCasey? I think somebody's validating that for me. 2 hours a day for 5 days a week for a long enough period of time, and you're going to have success in this business, right? So what the event does is it gets them to go from 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. It inspires them, and that's where we get our leverage. That's how we build massive organizations. That's how these white couches were built. It's not rocket science, okay? Some of you are thinking though, hey, yeah, I want to go to Vegas, but when is it? It doesn't matter. You want to know why it doesn't matter? Because the people who live life on their terms don't make excuses. We just heard that from the last panel. Okay? Read this. Money and excuses do not go together. Either you're going to make money or you're going to make an excuse. You choose. That's it. No one ever got what they wanted by making excuses. Do you know a successful person that makes a bunch of excuses? You just don't, right? You cannot make excuses. So the 2 things, guys, we're going to stop trying and start doing, and we're going to stop making excuses, all right? Is it going to be hard to get there? Probably so. Some of you may live in Vegas, that's great. The next one won't be there, okay? Is it going to be inconvenient? Is it going to be expensive? Are you going to have things going on in your life that weekend? Probably so. But do you want to live a life without limits? Yes? Do you want to get out of the situation you're in? Yes. Okay? Then you're going to be in Vegas. Okay? If you guys really want this, it's not very hard. You have to remove the distractions. It's got to get so clear for you that it's what you think about, not all the time, but every day. Like, you don't have to do this business all day, but you do have to do it every day, okay? So, you are where you are because of your decisions. And you will be where you're going to be in the future because of your decisions. So, a couple questions, guys. I just asked you the one. You said, yes, I'm ready to live a life without limits, right? Are you ready to live a life from that vantage point? Are you ready to get to higher ground? Yes? Okay. It's your choice, guys. If you want this, I laid it out for you.